Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about Rory Gilmore again and how I think she's pretty passive-aggressive. Rory's version of aggression is rarely loud. She isn't usually explosive, blunt, or openly cruel. Instead, when she's upset, she often goes cold, shuts down, withholds communication, and acts selectively warm to one person and icy to another. Or she'll make someone else feel like they've done something wrong without clearly saying what she's actually upset about. Let's start in the first episode. Rory is second-guessing Chilton because of Dean, but instead of just saying that, she becomes cold and nasty with Lorelai in a way that feels disproportionate to what Lorelai even knows. Lorelai is sitting there trying to figure out what's wrong, and Rory is putting her in this position of feeling guilty before she even knows the issue. She jumps down Lorelai's throat for not asking whether she had plans before agreeing to dinner with Emily and Richard, but the real issue is not dinner. The real issue is that Rory suddenly doesn't want to go to Chilton because she has a crush at her current school. Maybe it's more than that though. Maybe it's that transferring to Chilton is starting to feel more scary than exciting. The problem is that she never says that. She makes excuses. She gets sharper and turns the emotional temperature way down.
I still don't want to go.
Why?
Because I don't.
That's classic Rory though. She doesn't communicate what she wants all the time. Another huge example is the fight about Jess in season 2. Rory gets irrationally annoyed that Dean went to Lorelai for help when Rory had been off with Jess.
I wasn't off with Jess.
Which already says a lot because Dean went to Lorelai precisely because Rory was acting shady and unavailable. But the argument ends the way a lot of Rory conflicts do.
No, I'm going for a walk.
Oh, Dean is gonna be here any minute.
Well, he probably wants to talk to you anyhow.
She storms off and somehow leaves Lorelai carrying the emotional weight of the whole situation. Then we find out Rory freezes Lorelai out for the entire following week.
I just haven't had anything to say.
Again, instead of just saying, I feel judged, or I feel cornered, or even, I have feelings for Jess and it feels confusing, Rory just withholds herself. She creates a wall and makes the other person live with it. Example 3. At the start of season 3, we learn Rory is ignoring Christopher after the whole Sherry pregnancy situation. To be fair, she absolutely has every right to be angry here. Christopher keeps disappointing both her and Lorelai, and this is one of those moments where her anger is justified. But it still fits the larger pattern. When Rory is hurt, she often doesn't confront. She disappears, ghosts, or goes completely silent.
I mean, no matter where you and I have been in our lives, my daughter has always called me back, until now.
Hey, listen to me.
I didn't call you back because I didn't want to.
So this is not about whether she should have been mad. It's about how she handles that anger. Example 4. Rory going cold on Jess instead of just telling him what she needs.
Thank you. I'll see you later.
What was that? You guys in a fight or something?
No, you are.
What are you talking about?
Rory is annoyed that Jess doesn't call, doesn't make date plans, and doesn't follow through when he says he will. But instead of directly telling Jess that this behavior is hurting her, she complains to everyone else and then acts cold to him. This is such a passive-aggressive setup because her grievance is real, but the person who most needs to hear it is the one she's least clearly communicating with. Jess is supposed to somehow absorb her disappointment through her mood. Rory wants to be understood without having to risk the vulnerability of plainly saying, you are neglecting me and it hurts my feelings. Example 5. Rory's hot and cold behavior with Emily after Lorelai and Luke's breakup.
So, did you go to Athens on that first big European trip of yours?
Yep, we hit that.
Interesting, huh?
Yep.
Rory!
Grandpa, welcome home.
Well, thank you.
So, Grandpa, you hardly told me anything about your trip. How was the archaeological museum?
Oh, now that's it.
Rory has every right to be angry with Emily for what happened with Luke and Lorelai. But the way she behaves at dinner is so calculated. She is freezing cold. That truck is loud. She's freezing cold to Emily while being overly pleasant to Richard. Her behavior feels very intentional, like she wants Emily to feel exactly how hurt and angry she is. She's distributing warmth as punishment, and what makes it even more interesting is that we're not fully confident Richard was innocent in any of this. So Rory isn't simply acting on principle. She's choosing who gets iced out in the most visible way possible. Example 6. Logan and the bridesmaid situation. This one might be one of the clearest examples in the entire series. Rory is devastated by the bridesmaid situation, understandably so. She thought they were still together while Logan believed they were broken up. That's messy, painful, and confusing. But instead of deciding she can't move past it and just breaking up with him, Rory gets back together with him, and then punishes him through distance, silence, and hostility. She disappears for a weekend, at least I think it was for a weekend, ignores all his calls, and leaves him so in the dark that the only way he knows she's okay is by calling the paper. Then even after she comes back, she stays cold.
Even when we're together, you're someplace else. You leave and you don't kiss me goodbye. We're at dinner and you're on your cell phone the whole time. You never leave notes anymore about where you're gonna be, so I have no idea where you are. You haven't forgiven me.
What are you talking about?
For the girls I was with when we were separated.
I said I forgive you.
Yeah, you said it, but you haven't though. You haven't.
This is such a perfect example because it shows Rory choosing indirect punishment over direct decision. And the final example I want to talk about here is when Rory moves out of her grandparents' house without even telling them that she's leaving. At this point, she's very frustrated with Emily and Richard, and she feels suffocated by how controlling the environment has become. But instead of just telling them hey, I'm moving out, I'm going back to school, she just leaves. She doesn't leave a note or anything.
And then when you decide you don't like how things are going, you leave.
With no notice, by the way.
I understand, Emily was being a lot and they were doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. I get it. But the fact that she just leaves and just doesn't even want to apologize for that later.
There's plenty you can do.
What can I do?
Well, first of all, you can admit what you've done. You can apologize.
I was just trying to apologize.
Oof, that was really mean the way she just left. Very passive aggressive, you may say. What ties all of these examples together is that Rory wants to hold on to the image of herself as reasonable, nice, and controlled. She doesn't want to be the girl who's yelling, confronting someone, or plainly admitting how angry she is. That's often where passive aggression comes from. Direct conflict requires vulnerability. It means clearly saying, I'm hurt, I'm angry, or you disappointed me. That's what passive aggression is. Expressing resentment indirectly instead of openly, or making the other person figure out what's wrong without ever saying it clearly. It's such a common go-to because it lets people express anger without fully owning it. They can still send a message while protecting the image of being nice, composed, or innocent. And that's exactly Rory's pattern. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. I have a background in psychology and communication, so I love breaking down character behavior, relationship dynamics, and the subtleties of why people act the way they do. If that sounds like your kind of thing, please stick around for more. And if I missed any other examples of Rory being passive-aggressive, please leave them down in the comments. I'll see you next time.
I want to go so I can get away from you.